So in WWE, we about to get some new debut with Phoenix, and we also about to get some return that Rusev just signed back. We know Aleister is about to pop up here soon, and her deal's been let go. She been let go from AEW, so there's also the rumors or possibilities that everybody talks about when someone gets loose from their contract or where they're gonna go. And Saraya, formerly known as Paige, going back to WWE. Now, let's go ahead and just deal with stuff in order, I guess. Ray Phoenix, I was like hearing it out that hey, I was like he's supposed to get into like a storyline with Andrade. I know a lot of people hear that and it's like one, they might be like Andrade, and then also people be like, oh great, put two luchador type dudes together, Jesus Christ, Triple H or whatever. Now I'm gonna say somebody who can showcase the battle, I was like Andrade's a really good wrestler. For whatever, I was like for it had a mix for the people not liking him. I was like, he's saying that he's like frustrated with creative. At some point, it's just going to start to be you. Let's be honest. It can't just always be creative or whatever like that. I was like, you put things in program with people and stuff like that. Now, I do think they missed the chance of putting him. I think they should have did more with him and the Bloodline. I was like, but hey, I was like that's how I would have been. I was like, I would have made so many people in feud with the Bloodline that would have, because I'm like, to me that would have got a lot of people over, but easy. But it's almost to me the same way that Penta when I was like fought Chad Gable. Now, granted, Chad Gable is a lot more prominent up the roster, but I was like Penta, Gable was able to put on a show because I was like they both are really top-notch wrestlers. Whereas like, but you see when it was Penta, Kaiser, and Pete Dunne, that I was like those two dudes where they at on the card is like really Penta. And what frustrates with me without people, especially in this case of like Andrade, is the fact that it's like, listen, I was like, not everybody can be in the top spot. There gotta be some people in the middle. I was like, y'all are also the reason that this guy is how y'all also feel about him. Since I was like, you could say it's creative, but also nobody gives him any type of fanfare at all when he comes out either, which also creates where he's also at on the roster. They sort of got to work hand in hand as well. Where like the people say something about you? Not really, and the creative is also not giving you nothing because of also who you necessarily are. But if somebody's going to get a lot out of Ray Phoenix, it's going to be Andrade. He got a lot out of with Carmella, but what they were doing the best of 7 thing or whatnot. I was like, he does put on really great matches and stuff. And Ray Phoenix, as you want to come out, you really want to, before you start putting them necessarily in stuff, you want to also showcase what he could do. So I'm fine with this first being like their little battle or whatever like that. And it might actually get more out of them as well too. I know it didn't really work all that great when it was like him with Ray and LWO and Santos and all them. But I was like, that was also a clusterfuck of so many people that I was like, this here is at least one-on-one battle. I was like, the promos are probably just going to be them in Spanish, which is fine as long as they got the furiosity or whatever. Probably not said that word right, but in their promo. But also if they was overseas, it'd be fine. America, they're gonna be like, what or whatever. But like I said, I think that's fine. Aleister, I don't know where that's necessarily going to go. I don't know if they're going to, hope they don't really just jump him into some Wyatt stuff or whatever. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I was like, it would be cool if they did a Shinsuke thing with him just because it's like, yeah, we know he's going to beat him, but I was like, that would be good matches where you know that they're going to basically be able to take out each other of like their fighting style, and cool. Aleister will be able to beat them there. Getting into the more ones of like the ones that we don't know about. Rusev being signed back. Listen, I was like, I was here during the Rusev Day. I was here during that. Not the Rusev versus John Cena and stuff like that. That was before I started getting back into wrestling. But I was here during the time where it's like him and Aiden English should have been tag team champions and stuff like that. I was fine with it. It wouldn't bother me. But I was like, it wasn't something especially for me. But I liked it. But I also understood everybody else it being over why we're not going to give them the championship like that. Like, I am able to do both of where I'm like, it's not my thing, but it's popular as hell. Why aren't they champions or something like that in this sense or whatever. I was like, I didn't expect Lana to come with him. I was like, I don't think they're even together anymore or whatever. But I did want to know, like, how are they going to try to bring some of that, what he was doing over at AEW back over here? Is he going to come back and be like Rusev? Because you know the problem is like, guess what? If his name going to be Miro, people going to call that boy Rusev. They just going to do it. They're going to be like, Rusev. It doesn't matter. So you got to come back with that name. They're going to do the whole Rusev Day as well, too. So I'm like, do you want to come back and bring that back as well? And I think that's sort of where the thing is, where I like he should just come out and murder somebody, pretty much. Just destroy somebody when he comes back, to just say, this is not the same Rusev Day. There's no day on the calendar. No, that's none of that's happening with me. I'm coming out here and I'm being a destroyer. That's what I am. And I was like, I know everybody's gonna. I was like, see, the problem is that everybody thinks that everybody should be on top of the card and get championships and stuff like that. But at this point, I think he's really just going to be basically a mid-card. I'm not saying that he won't get to the point where it's like something pops off or something where he could be in the main event, but allow him to get his footing or whatever, just because it's like you're gonna have to allow these people, because it's like, look, you're gonna have. I was like, he should go on Raw. He should go on Raw, because I was like, as a matter of fact, he should go on Raw. Jay loses to Gunther. Rusev comes back, beats Gunther's ass. Boom! I just booked it. I was like, cool. Everybody get their cake and eat it too. He get a main event championship, and in the problem of the storyline, bam! I just figured it out. You welcome, Triple H. But saying the last one, Saraya. I've seen a lot of people say that she's not needed. What's the point? There's nothing. She wasn't really doing too much in AEW the last little bit. She probably can't wrestle and go how she necessarily would or whatever. I still think there's some left in the tank. I was like, they're like, what does she really do anything for the women's division? She's not needed in the women's division. I disagree with that. I think until you start getting some of these NXT women up on the roster, I think there's really room here. I was like, she works in. She has shown that she gets used in any way. Whoa, my bad. I was like, cause y'all gonna take that in a whole different route. But she has shown she could be the general manager, a mouthpiece, stable, all the other stuff. So I was like, she's shown she could be in vast different ways. But I think she should come up and basically you could easily, I think, put her right in a storyline, because to me, you could sort of just do a playbook of sort of the CM Punk thing to me. Like, it's not the same. Been away for 10 years, this whole thing, but I think you could go with the route of the playbook of, you got to think, she hadn't wrestled, especially this crop of people. I was like, in about 5 or 7 years, like it's been a while since. So it's like you could easily basically bring her back as like legend veteran type of person or whatever, and have her going against all these newcomers or whatever. I was like, would I have her necessarily step up to like Rhea, Bianca, Io, and all that? No. I was like, I'm not saying that you can't put her in a storyline to get her up to that spot, but it's places where I think she helps. I think she helps that mid card out a lot. You got to think that mid card right now is really empty, and it's one of the reasons why I thought they should have one belt, not two belts. Is just because I was like that. Like after you get past, she probably will be like the 7th or 8th woman automatically once she gets there. Because you got, I just said the 3. I was like, you got Lyra with the championship, Chelsea with the championship. You got, I was like, you got Miss Shin in there. Who got like something like work. Nia Jax's in there. Tiffany with the championship. I was like, Charlotte, Becky when she comes back. All right, I just totally just made myself a liar, because that at least makes her. I was like, I think she fits in that 10. I think she fits in that 10 because she fits with Chelsea and Lyra of that mid card area. Because I was like, Bayley, Nia is there. I was like, I don't think Nia, but I think Bayley, she's going to be in the mix of that mid card championship. Everybody else is pretty much going to be fighting for World Heavyweight Championship. So once we get down to that mid card level, who do you really have? Ivy Niles. I like who else? They're not really doing anything with Maxine. They're trying to build a B-Fab, but she's still sort of raw in this. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks, they're not doing nothing with right now. So I'm like, as she immediately come in there and she has name recognition that would automatically put her into like that spot. And I think that her holding the mid card is not the same way. Like, especially she can't go how it sort of seems or whatever. I don't think that hurts that much about that bit. I was like, I think, like, yeah, she would have the main championship. It would be a short spell sort of thing. You know, and then plus that one really only gets, that really is like on PLEs or close to it on that Friday or Monday. So I was like, she could work with that schedule a lot more than like the Intercontinental Championship where you're sort of a fighting champion more so, the U.S. champion where you just sort of just do it however you like you mean or whatever. She could easily come in, beat one of those younger women, and just basically just have that veteran status of winning or whatever. But I think that she would help them wrestling wise. I think that she would help them if you wanted to get one of the young ones over that you're just like Trish tried to help Zoe, and I think they did squander her momentum. But I was like, Zoe, I don't think has had shown the personality that she needed, where it's like you get somebody else with a little bit, like, you know, there's enough of them in NXT that I think you could. Where it's like, I mean, I'm not saying that they need it, but Soruka, I was like, Jada Parker, Lola Vice, I was like, there's enough of them down there, not Jordan Grace or none of them or whatever. They're already pretty much at the top. I think that where it could work. That's just me. But anyway, that is my thoughts on the whole this little free agent cropping that we got coming up here soon or whatever, that we'll probably see up to WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, that sort of thing. Anyway, what do y'all think about any of those people? Who do you think they should get involved with when they immediately come up or whatever? Like I said, Ray Finn is going to have a thing with Andrade, so that one looks like that's already sort of being done with as well. I was like, Aleister Black, I said his first little thing should be against against Shinsuke or whatever. You can also do Drew. You can bring that thing back from NXT. I would like Rusev. I think he should immediately get into it with Gunther or whatnot. And Saraya, I think you can immediately throw her to the mid-card championship immediately and then just have her have a shock win easy. But anyway, what do y'all think? Let me know. Till then, peace. I'm out.